All right, perfect.
There you go.
Okay, now note to self, for real, delete that one.
Right.
Don't leave it in there. Don't get high when you're editing and think it's never going to come back to bite you, because it is. And I feel like that marginalized group is far less forgiving than the other marginalized group I did in the last sound check that
Chinese
I
people.
said a slur.
Yeah.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the reunion episode of Locker Room Talk.
Yes.
We got Matt risking his life sitting right next to Babastis. After
Yes,
a
I
trip.
am. This is very scary for me.
Matt's terrifying.
But
But
I'm very allergic. I'm a wrestler, but I'm still Jewish and allergic to cats.
Yes.
He's feeding on your fear, dude. It's because you're so visibly afraid. He's like,
Yeah, he can
I'm
smell it,
I'm
dude."
gonna chill here as the silent overseer of locker room.
He looks
talk.
like one of those lions on the banister in front of Chinese restaurants.
That's
That's what he is.
I saw one of those
Ooh.
in Victoria, British Columbia's
Yeah,
Chinatown.
get into it, Matt. You we have a
The
folks-
clean Chinatown.
Yes.
We have a little bit of an international superstar, and I'm not talking
Yes.
about Zach Amico. Matt Maran, you took your sleeveless shirts all over the nation, the world, even.
Yes, I it wasn't a vacation. I actually just decided to leave the podcast, but I've come back around, so that's why it's a reunion episode.
We were real worried, dude.
Yeah.
After the dramatic season finale, Locker Room Talk. This is season 2, episode 1.
Yes, there you go. Yeah, I had to go and just take some time to myself. I had to do some edibles in a national park in Alaska.
Okay.
Ooh.
And
And
you were
then-
self-partnered this whole time.
Yes, and then I decided that what's best for me, my future, and the future of the world, and especially America, is to come back and be with you guys on Locker Room Talk
Oh, that's beautiful.
and continue the show and start season 2.
Dan, I'm glad you took Joe's mushrooms. The please don't quit your job with me mushrooms.
Yes.
The ones that Joe specifically grew.
No, I still haven't done shrooms. It was just edibles.
Oh, edibles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell me about your edible experience, because you're kind of a lightweight in terms of
I'm not
doing
like
drugs.
I'm
Did you eat 'em?
I'm new to it.
that's what
Yeah.
I mean. Your tolerance level isn't as adjusted.
Yeah, but it's still so I got the we landed in Seattle before going for the cruise through Alaska, and there's one stop in Canada, and I didn't know if there would be edibles. It turns out every single port, the smallest town in Alaska,
Oh, yeah.
still had an edible store. So I got some in Seattle. They were just 10 milligrams. I've done 25 milligrams before.
Ooh.
So the first couple days when I took them, I did 2 for 20 milligrams, and then the third day, me and one of the other people I met on the cruise each did 1, and I was still feeling a little high. He was like very high from just 10 milligrams. So like
So
maybe
you
my
won.
maybe my tolerance isn't that low, but I'm still like, I was in a national park where they said you could see like wildlife and stuff. So part of me was like, if I'm really high and I see a bear, I don't know what's gonna happen here.
Dude, I would be, no offense, so happy.
If that's how I died.
If that, not only that, because then Joe and I would have to do at least one episode and explain the story.
Yes.
Yeah, one episode to our Patreons explain like we can't do this anymore because Matt's dead.
Yeah, I didn't go so deep
People
into
would
the.
barely believe it.
Honestly, without me, the podcast would be unbearable.
What if it was a black bear? Oh, we've actually done that before.
Yeah, we talked about the California state flag.
Joe's the only person I know that drinks hot cocoa in 90-degree weather.
You know, it's only 79 degrees, bub.
Really?
Heat wave over.
It was pretty cold. It was like in the 50s and windy in Alaska.
Were you
I
scared?
I wore a vest on top of a sweater for the most part. So I still was wearing a sleeveless attire.
Matthew.
I bought mostly shirts with sleeves because, I don't want anyone on the cruise who's never met me before to know the real me yet.
Yeah.
By the end of the week, I did run out. So the last 2 days, I was just wearing tank tops all over. And
mean,
a
that's
couple
fine.
people who I met throughout the week were kind of like, "Oh, you're wearing a cut-off shirt now." And in my head, I'm like, if only they knew.
You should have like, one of them is like, you actually look really cool, and you get like wide-eyed.
Yeah.
And then they follow you on social media, and then they just see you sleeveless.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, I really affected that artist.
I wonder if any of them, I haven't gotten any follows, but we had no service most of the time, so we couldn't look each other up.
Good.
There's something kind of nice about you kind of bond and hang out with a whole bunch of people and then just never see each other
You
again.
didn't bring Mark Zuckerberg into it once?
No, we did not.
That's weird. So you just like
Yeah.
looked into their eyes.
Yeah.
And like, how did you know where they were from?
I did ask them.
You asked them.
Yes.
So you didn't go to their profile or anything.
No, I made human-to-human connections.
I don't know about this, dude.
Yeah.
As someone that looks like a Catholic Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
You look
I'm
like one of
really-
Mark Zuckerberg's like metaverse miscarriages.
Yeah.
Where he first tries to
First
like
attempt.
Yeah, he first tries to create an avatar and it gains sentiency and he's like, get rid of it. It learned like a few things about like self-awareness and
Yeah.
that was too much.
Yeah, I know how to bathe myself and say the Gettysburg Address, and they're like, "All
Yeah.
right, throw this out."
This is enough. But then like one kind-hearted Facebook employee was like, no, it deserves to live.
The pro-lifer.
Yeah, they wrapped you up in a blanket and snuck you out.
Yeah.
It's the story of Bobby Moses Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of, I let my people go, and I'm talking about severely autistic people.
Yeah. In hindsight, I probably could have made up a lot more about myself than I did because I'm not going to see anyone.
I think of you as a guy that does that, but you,
Yeah.
No, not
Matt
really.
Maran, non-rapist.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, wow, what a gentleman.
Wow,
I mean,
non-rapist, huh?
I did a lot of
Be a good business card.
most people when I like first interaction with people, they asked what I did. I would say I coach sports, and then for some of the people who I got more friendly with, I would talk to them about doing comedy.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But not only a couple people.
Well, because if you're like, I'm a comedian, they're like, you're performing on the ship. You're like,
that too, yeah.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I could only perform in bars where no one goes to.
Was there a comedian on the ship?
Yeah, I didn't see. I went in during the beginning of the comedy show for about. I heard the first like 30 seconds of the cruise ship like manager introducing everyone doing. I heard we have a good-looking crowd here. Well, they say 1 out of 3 people's ugly. Look to your left. Look to your right. If they're not ugly, guess who the ugly one is? Like I'm going back to the bar where there's live music.
Dude, that rules.
Oh, that's so good.
That's
How
a fucking great opener, too.
yeah.
Man,
we
you
should
should
be-
have you should have fucking sat down with a fucking notebook.
Yeah.
And just studied some of the greats, dude.
Matt
That
steals
cruise,
from all
like
the
Matt's
cruise
like
ship
trying
Yeah.
to poo-poo it. That cruise ship comedian made way more than any of us in
Oh
stand-up
yeah.
comedy.
No, it's
He
I'm
doesn't
not.
need a Patreon.
Yeah, I'm not hating on them. I just if I'm on vacation, the live music was very good.
Okay.
There was one like Argentinian woman who I think her family emigrated there in 1945 originally.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Matt, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Her name is Maria did nothing wrong.
Mm.
That's her last name. Did
Actually,
nothing
I'll
wrong.
give a shout. It was Anna Alvarado.
Ooh, Anna.
Oh, she sounds like a tasty little cake.
You better hope you think she still doesn't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah. No, she so I followed her on Instagram and tagged her in a video that she did share but did not follow me back.
Aw.
And I have more followers than her.
Oh my
Ooh,
goodness.
Yikes.
Yeah,
Care
she
about
didn't.
her, huh?
Yeah, she didn't realize that she was getting followed by a New York City comedian.
Doing what New York City comedians do. Making women feel unsafe on the 7 seas.
Yes. There was a cover band from like Mexico City that was good. There was an 80s tribute band that was awesome.
Ooh.
Yeah, dude. What
Yeah.
were they? What songs did they sing?
Any 80s song you could think of. A lot of AC/DC,
Ooh.
Foreigner, Journey, Bon Jovi, Van Halen. Yeah. And their name was Back in the Day, and it's spelled like the font from Back to the Future.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cool.
Yes.
That's great branding, dude.
Yes.
I bet a lot of fucking near 40-year-old to 50-year-old men were having a great time at that.
There weren't that many. That's everyone on a cruise ship is like either 80 or 18.
Ooh.
Nice.
Which one did you fall
Yeah.
under?
I had,
You
so
better
there
pick
were,
the 80-year-old or you're going to be in a lot of trouble. Matt.
Yes.
18 is the new 17. I've learned this from being on Twitter.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Mhm.
Why?
People are real mad at Dane Cook.
Yeah.
Why? Oh, because he's yeah. What? Did
He's
he do
he's a
wrong?
troublemaker.
He dated a woman that's 18.
So
It's too young.
Well,
I
because
think it was.
then
I
if,
think it was like when they take into account how long they've known him. It's like it
Yeah.
kind of falls into grooming territory.
but if that kind of stuff continues, it's a vicious circle.
It's a vicious circle.
I think
I think
innocent.
18-year-old. I'm not going to say women. I think 18-year-old girls
Mhm.
have zero agency.
Yes.
Why?
They have no idea what's going on.
Mhm.
They like you ever see an 18-year-old girl?
Yeah.
She just
Oh,
has
all the
like
time.
the glass over, and people need to help her across the street.
Yeah.
And then fucking someone like Dane comes along, and it's just not fair, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The richest comedian in the world maybe should have to date a woman who is kind of overweight, has a bad attitude, crow's feet as far as the eye can see.
A rude tude,
A
you might
rude
say.
tude.
A rude tude. Not
A
just a
rude
bad
tude.
attitude.
Yeah.
A rude tude.
Mhm. hair that is probably falling out and also gray.
Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do once I'm
Yeah?
famous, dude.
Yeah.
I'm
You're
gonna
gonna date an Uggo like Keanu Reeves.
I'm gonna put
And they're
Keanu
like-
Reeves to shame.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves is so cool because his sister's dead, and now he's dating an ugly woman, even though a beautiful woman would fuck him.
Yeah.
That's like the
pretty
most
cool.
noble thing a man can do.
Hugh Jackman. He's got like his wife's like 15 years older than him.
Yeah, and like what is
And
it?
she's attractive for
Pierce,
an older
Pierce
woman.
Brosnan had like a hot wife, but then she became like a porco, and then they're like, "Oh damn, Hugh, are you gonna or Pierce, are you gonna get rid of her?" He's like, "No, I fucked up, but I have to commit to my fuck up," which I think is noble.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the greatest thing a man can do nowadays.
Do you think like your future wife has been born yet, Bobby?
I'm gonna go on a limb and say she's been born, but she might be learning to read.
Ooh,
Yeah.
First.
That's possible if she 25-year age gap.
Mm.
5 years old is a normal time for a girl to read, right? Did I do that math right?
I don't know what age. Well, what age did you start learning to read? First grade, maybe.
15.
I was thinking about this. How once Matt got pussy for the first time, he's like, I
Yes.
guess I'll give this reading thing a shot.
Yeah.
He's like, now that I can express myself through poetry, I better learn how to read.
The first book I ever read was the Kama Sutra.
Okay.
I needed to learn more
Nice.
for the first time in my life.
Yeah, you're
I
like
had something I wanted to learn.
Well, teenage Matt runs out of the room with the Kama Sutra. He's like, "You guys, I've just learned there's this country called India."
But yeah, I ended up meeting. There was a couple from Austin who, and they were like around my age. The guy was about my age. The girl was a couple
Nice.
years younger.
Ooh.
I hung out with them for a bit. On the last night, a bunch of us all hung out that we had like seen each other around.
Yeah.
Like if there was a couple more days, it would have we would have probably hung out a lot more.
Probably would have fucked.
Yeah. And they were all like early 20s. So that wasn't.
What's up? You want to invest in my crypto?
Yeah, but that's the weird because like I would talk to some of the older people.
Yeah.
Not even like if they're even 40, 50 or whatever. I can talk to them a little about whatever, but then they are going to bed early.
Right.
Yeah.
And
It's
so there's
supper time.
Yeah, and then so the people who I want to hang out with, are the younger people, and when you're like 30, there's not very few people like millennials
Want to hang
Yeah.
out with you.
on this ship who are like, I'm either too old for some people or too young for people.
Yeah.
Millennials never liked cruises. It was always like
yeah.
a different generation thing. We're millennials, baby. Unless it's like one of those Disney cruise.
Yeah.
We're not going on it. Was it a Disney cruise?
No, it
We're not
wasn't.
going on it.
But I mean, also all the places in Alaska are so relaxing. Like
Like where?
first place was Juneau, which is like the rainiest city in America.
Ooh.
But also
They should
all
call
the
it. They should call it the
girl-
wettest, moistest city in America,
I'm
with some
into
of
it.
the wettest, moist women.
Okay.
The land of 1,000 moist women.
yeah, Juneau was cool.
You can't.
well,
you
once
can't
Matt
fucking.
got there.
You can't
Yeah.
throw a rock in Juneau, Alaska, without hitting some moist, wet,
Yeah.
dripping wet
Isn't
woman.
that a problem in Alaska that there's more men than women? So there's
There's a problem.
Yeah.
There's so many unreported rapes in Alaska.
unreported. Oh.
I mean,
I hate when no
after-
one gets credit for their work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after I left, there's a lot of them.
My man.
Matthew.
Seattle is interesting. So this is Seattle. I was there for a couple days before we took off, and
Were you scared?
No, not really. Well, everyone keeps themselves. Even their homeless people are more chill.
Okay.
Like they're like it feels like a more chill Manhattan.
Okay.
Because there's people, buildings, businesses, but like they're homeless people. They're still gross, but they're gross by themselves.
They're respectfully
Okay.
gross. They understand they can't.
They're
be
not
gross.
gonna
They don't get
approach-
mad at you for being homeless.
Yes, they're not going to approach anyone.
They
but
keep their
that's
grossness to themselves.
yeah. I did
Yeah.
stand up at Club Comedy Seattle.
How was
which,
it?
Good. The set was fine. But like hanging out with the comic stuff after, like they were all cool, but it's a very much like no one's going to go out of the way to welcome you in. It feels like one of my friends.
You should have
I
said you
vis-
ran show. If you said you ran shows in New York, they would have been a lot
A
nicer.
couple of people recognized me from Fight Club.
That's cool.
like
yeah.
who, a woman.
There was a woman.
Did you like? Hey, well, let's go back to my apartment.
Should pop on my knob then.
yeah.
I did not.
Why not?
Matt
Why didn't you exploit
squandering
your power?
opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why do you want to be in a position of authority to put on a good show?
that's true.
so
Yeah.
everybody has fun.
What's the use of power if you don't abuse it?
Mm-hmm.
And the power I wield as commissioner of Comedy Fight Club is a
Yeah.
vast amount of power.
Yeah. You put on that
yeah.
that black and white striped shirt,
Mm.
you become a whole another man.
Yes. Is that a referee shirt?
Yeah, wouldn't that
Yes.
be cool? You should throw in a
If I
referee
if I host the show as a referee.
Which doesn't make sense because the referee like calls stuff and
Yeah.
like you don't call anything.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be neutral. You're like the president of the Senate. You're only there to
Yeah.
to vote on a tie if
Yeah.
need be.
I'm the commissioner. I'm the Dana White. I was gonna say any other commissioner wears suits and ties. Dana White just wears black T-shirts. That's as close as.
Okay.
Sometimes he
get-
wears like a button-down black shirt with
Yeah.
a gray sports coat
Yeah.
over it.
Or I'm the Vince McMahon, or now Triple H.
Yeah, no more Vince McMahon. He's dead. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
I bet
Pretty
Triple
sad.
H is laughing all the way to the bank, huh?
To the
Ha,
money
ha,
in the
ha.
bank. Oh.
Do you think now CM Punk is going to sign back with WWE?
I don't think so, because he's got his deal in AEW now, and he never liked Triple H either.
He loved Triple H.
You think so?
No.
No.
I don't know.
But yeah, Seattle feels like an entire town of like, if you're at a party and you're in a circle and there's a couple of people who kind of keep to themselves and almost never say anything in the circle, Seattle's a whole city full of those people.
Okay, and
which
you're
is
gregarious by contrast.
yes, and I'm the one who, if someone's not saying, I want to bring them in. So I also would like to be brought in.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a bad time. I didn't like dislike
You just felt like an
anyone.
outsider.
Yeah,
All alone.
You're an outsider, outside of everything.
Yes.
Everywhere you go, everywhere you go. I don't know the rest of the song. It's a Ramones song.
What
Yeah.
song?
Outsider?
Oh.
But I knew it because Green Day covered it. That's how Teenage Bobby found out about it.
Yeah, at first I thought you were going with the Michelle Branch song. I was like, does Bobby know a Michelle Branch song? Ooh, by the way,
Oh, yikes.
you see the story? Michelle Branch arrested for domestic assault.
That's wild.
Apparently, she slapped her husband because he cheated on her.
Oh my goodness.
What a fucking, like, grow up, Michelle.
Yeah.
Like, that's something I think all men live in fear of. Getting in trouble for cheating.
Yeah.
Right, Bobby?
She's gonna be singing I'm a single man now, Joseph.
And we know why.
You know, there's people that know me that listen to
They're
this.
not gonna fucking believe me, dude. Isn't that what?
Who
that
bu-
be-
yeah,
the
who
guy
bu-
that always fucking lies. That they so selectively decide to believe me when it fucking fits.
That's the
You're
crazy-
like the Bible, Joe. You can believe what you want to believe.
Right.
There's so
and
much.
discard the
That's
rest.
There's so much knowledge in me that you can
Yeah.
pick and choose to
Yep.
fucking.
That's also
fit
the
your
crazy thing is
philosophy.
how many people actually do believe you when you say things.
That's the wildest thing, man. Honestly, like that's a fucking test.
At Fight
That's
Club,
a Turing test.
Matt and I had both had experiences of like, oh, was Joe? You're friends with Joe? Is he really in the military? Does he really have children?
Oh, yeah.
Is he really on parole? I'm like, what is he telling you?
Yeah. There was someone at Fight Club who asked something about your kids. And I was like, he doesn't have kids. He just lies about stuff. And it was somebody who, it was the comic who was in the Israeli army.
yeah.
And,
Yikes.
and you voted for him at Fight Club in solidarity as a fellow veteran. And so he was like asking about your kids. I'm like, Joe doesn't have kids. He lies about everything. And he's like, what, was he like lying about being in the military too? Like, yes.
dude.
And he said it with like, well, no one would lie about that.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most taboo things to do in America. Joe's like, I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it if I can get this crowd to like me for
What
a
is it?
second.
Stolen valor?
Stolen
Yes.
valor.
Ah, that's cool though.
You can't stay mad at Joe because listen, Joe has a song in his
Yeah.
heart and a beautiful smile on his face. He could say whatever the fuck he wants.
I think it's only stolen valor if like you financially benefit from it.
I don't know because you get like sympathy. Like I'm sure there's homeless guys that are just soaking up the sympathy nods.
Yeah, but like that's like no one's gonna take them to court for that.
yeah, I will. I will.
Yeah.
Disrespectful to our nation.
Like if I was like
Sue someone for emotional damages.
yeah.
if I was like
Excuse
support
me,
my
Your Honor, I
yeah.
would like my nod back, please.
Yes.
support my GoFundMe. I'm a veteran. Please help. And
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, he's not a veteran. It's like that's stolen valor.
Yeah.
If I'm like, I'm voting for you because I was also in the Israeli army.
Yeah.
It's like, dud.
Or is the definition of valor only financial, or can it be an emotional
Well,
gain?
I think valor is
if it hurts
just-
these soldiers, the strongest people defending us get mad if we fucking pretend to be what they do.
it hurts their
It
feelings.
hurts. Yeah, it's like stop pretending. Your pretending hurts me.
Yes.
I mean,
My existence.
you get your genitals like blown off, and the only thing you get is like substandard health care and half off Applebee's once a year. I'd
Yeah.
be a little annoyed.
Take it
too.
up with your fucking government, dude. That's not my
Honestly,
fault.
no, I'm on their side because, like, you know, when there are some people who call themselves comedians
Yeah.
and aren't,
Yeah.
that gets me so.
I don't.
pissed.
It's like good, dude. Let them think that shitty person is a comedian. Then they'll be blown the fuck away.
That's
When they
true.
see him. It's like, damn, if that guy's a comedian, Joe Gorman's like a super mega comedian.
Oh
then.
yeah,
Dude,
that's
yeah,
true.
dude.
I work with this. I work with two guys, and they both make me sad in different ways. There's one guy that used to do comedy in LA.
Nice. What's his name?
I don't know, but there's another guy
He
who's no. He sits next to me every day, but I never learn his name. There's
That actually sounds like me. All right, your story checks out.
hey, you.
Yeah.
You're just
Hey,
point-
bud.
yeah.
That's why I call everyone homie.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
Doggy.
And then another guy. This is arguably worse. He's like, oh, I always wanted to do it, and I'm like, oh, well, if you want to do an open mic, let me know. I could tell you like good ones to do. And he's like, yeah, but I'm like focusing on writing right now, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It just they both have stinks on them in like different ways. You know
Yeah.
what
Well,
I
like
mean?
the guy that's writing is never going to do it.
Exactly.
At least like the guy that quit was like, this isn't for me.
Well, he someone introduced him to me as like, oh, this guy does comedy too, and he's like, I haven't in a while, but I got to get back into it. And it took all my strength to be like, you don't have to if you don't want to. I actually don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why did you tell people at work you do comedy?
I think it was getting weird when people were like, what are you doing this weekend? I would just go nothing.
I would just say I'm hanging out. I'm playing. I just tell people I'm playing video games, hanging
Yeah.
out, exploring.
Yeah.
At a certain point, I feel people out before like talking about it.
Yeah.
Usually.
Never bring that shit up, dude. Always have a fucking. I'm a gun club.
Yeah. I don't even mind the
Incel
when
support
everyone's
group.
Yeah.
when everyone's like, I don't want to get the dumb questions or whatever. I'm like, I don't mind talking about
You
that.
can be an AA.
You can. Well, also, I mean,
That's less embarrassing. I have to
I'm
go
not,
to
I'd
my
rather
NA
be like
meeting.
at least like with AA is like, oh, you're getting better. Like comedy is like you're
Yeah.
getting like you're just like
Yeah.
more of a shittier human being.
yes. There was in Sitka, Alaska, by the national park. They there's a bunch of totem poles throughout the park, and,
Oh yeah.
and in the front of the park there were
Are
two
Totem Poles Indian?
Native
Yeah.
American.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude. What
Huh.
are you? What do you think they
I
were?
didn't know what I thought they were. I didn't know they were that.
You never associated them with Native Americans?
I knew that they were foreign in some way. I guess they're not, but
Why did you think like they were?
Actually, we are the foreign ones, Bobby.
Damn. Really makes
Matt's
you
always here to check my white privilege and more
Yes.
What-
importantly, Joe's white privilege.
What did you think they were from? Do you think like they were like Wiccan?
I think it's just for I kind of
Just 16-year-old white girls who want to be witches.
I associate
I call upon the power of the crow. Fucking get him. I got a fucking dream catcher, and the coyote god's gonna fucking smile upon me.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I always associate them with like cool art teachers as like middle schoolers, and we have to like walk around them in some way.
Really?
I think that's what my brain is.
and
You,
you
had
had to
such a
do-
whitewashed
Yeah.
existence.
you had to do a dance
You went
when
to a
the
fucking
when the
school where like
you
they
had
just
to
try
do-
to eliminate the Native American from
Yes.
the curriculum.
Wait, you're saying Andrew Jackson High School was? Come on.
but
All right,
yeah,
so there's a totem pole in Alaska.
there's a bunch of them throughout the trail in the park, and in the beginning when you walk in, there were two guys working on carving a totem pole.
Ooh,
I think they
baby.
normally work indoors, but during the tourist hours they'll come outside. A lot of these places they make their money to exist as a city year round because of tourist season.
Yeah.
Like Skagway specifically is a real old western town that was like a boom town during the gold rush, during the Klondike gold rush. They
What would
find
you do for a
gold.
Klondike bar? Bobby?
What would you do?
I would listen to Matt talk about his Alaska trip.
There you go.
Yeah.
Pretty brave. I don't have a Klondike bar.
But yeah, after the gold rush, there was another town right by like this waterway where you would start your journey to. There's like 400 miles, and Canada passed a law. They didn't want everyone starving, so you had to
Nice.
bring a year's worth of food. So you had to carry 2 tons of supplies just to do this trip
Wow, a
to
whole
the gold rush.
Matt's mom's worth. That's
Yes.
crazy.
A light snack.
Yeah. So the guys carving the totem pole are like doing it outdoors while people are coming in to look to the national park, and they'll just stand there and answer questions for you about like what
Were
their
they Native
life is.
American?
One of them was Native American, and one of them was a white guy. Which to me, I'm like, I want to like watch that movie or just be a fly on the wall for like what those conversations are like. Because I didn't ask any questions.
Was there an interpreter so they could understand each other?
They did speak English.
I was taken from my tribe at a young age.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then what does the Native American say?
Right, that's what the white guy says.
Ah.
But they, the Native American guy was really cool. I was so high, I felt like I wouldn't be able to formulate and form any actual questions.
You didn't
You
feel
were
like you were
talking
one
in
with the
the-
spirits?
Yeah.
And two, I felt like any question I asked this guy, I'm so far removed from having any idea of what this guy's life is like. I'll sound like someone just asking me as a comedian, like, "Oh, so do you know this person?" Like, I feel like I'd only ask the dumbest questions.
Yeah.
I did watch a lot of other people do that, which I found kind of funny. But then I also knew I probably wouldn't be any better.
Making fun of the white man.
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
The guy was very cool. Someone asked him if this is what he did for work or all of his life, and he goes, "Not yet."
Oh, powerful because his life's not, it's not his whole life yet.
Exactly.
But it will be.
Ooh, that
Yeah.
is fucking powerful, dude.
Yeah.
Wow, he really does have the spirit of the crow inside
Yes.
of him. Jesus.
They said it takes, and they just chop down the trees there and start. It takes 5 months to make them. Each of them has a story that it tells, and we asked him what the story was for the one he was carving. He said he knew it, but he couldn't tell us because when they give it to the tribe that it's for, they reveal the story.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So it's
Yeah.
like someone working on their hour. They don't want to
Yeah.
put it all online.
Right, exactly.
You got to buy it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This-
the most
yeah.
offensive one.
Yeah.
That's what you should have said.
I
to
should have
relate
said
to
that
him.
to him. Yeah.
This
to relate.
totem pole is about how I started doing cocaine again and getting a half Japanese girl pregnant. Don't worry, I'm still America's favorite boy.
The top one is John Mulaney with the microphone. The middle one is Olivia Munn pregnant. The bottom, then there's a snorting a line, and then at the end, it's all the fans like.
That was cool because like his was like a real. Everyone was like, "It's all good. Don't worry about it, John."
Yeah.
And like, cause he cheated up, it's super okay.
Is it known that he cheated?
What else would he have done?
I mean, he
Bobby.
could have divorced his wife and then got a
Oh,
girlfriend.
Bobby defending the guy cheating on his wife yet again, dude. Come on, Bobby. The writing's on the wall, man. Folks, I have the Joe Gorman mantra: happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
Nice. Doesn't matter which wife it is. Just
Right. As long as one of them is happy.
Yeah.
As long as one of them, as long as one of my many brides is
Yes.
happy.
Or if he makes your wife happy.
I
And then
feel like
she doesn't care that you ignore it or listen to this racist.
That's
podcast.
like the Mormon loophole. You beat the shit out of all of your wives, but one. Just
one you
happy-
treat like a queen.
Yeah, happy wife, happy life. It doesn't say happy wives, happy lives. I only have one life. I only need one happy
I
wife.
just need one. You see, the polygamist got it figured out,
Yeah.
dude. It's like I was completely faithful to this one wife.
Yes.
The one at the end.
Yeah.
That's beautiful, man.
That's all you need.
Call that one the short stick.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Have you guys heard of the FDLS church?
FDL-ish
So
church.
the FDLS church.
Franklin Delano Frederickson Latter-day Saints.
You got it, buddy. Also known as
I thought it was fucked a little saints.
it's the Fundamentalist Church of Latter-day Saints. They're Mormons that still practice polygamy.
Ooh, nummy.
Yeah,
nummy.
I watched this Netflix documentary about it.
Yeah.
And it is crazy.
How any of those women looking? How do they look?
Well, most of the quote unquote women are in the documentary are
Quote unquote women.
Well, because they're teenage girls.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing about polygamists is that they're also almost always pedophiles. I don't know
That's
how
such
that
a
works.
gambit, though.
But it
It's
also-
like, how do you know if this fucking 14-year-old's gonna be a hot 24-year-old?
Yeah.
That's true.
I don't like it, dude. Because like sometimes you like look at these like,
Joe, a witness for the prosecution.
You ever go on- you ever go on some-
Joe's problem with pedophilia is it's too much of a gamble of
Yeah.
whether or not they'll look good.
It's like what a rush though. If you fucking find a 16-year-old and she turns into a fucking banger.
Yeah,
You know?
you're like you saw the seed that
Yeah.
would plant into a flower.
It's like damn,
That
you
you then
gotta okay. You fucking find a 14-year-old bride. You get him on an exercise regime. You get him a nutritionist. Right, you're giving him annual checkups to make sure, like,
I'm just imagining Joe with a sheriff's hat talking to one of the dudes, be like,
Yeah.
"You're doing this all wrong."
it's like, here's what you got to do. You know, is you got to start grooming them from a young age.
That was part of the documentary. Is that fucking Oprah because the quote unquote optics of like scary policemen with guns taking away these teenage girls.
Yeah.
And most of them were like, "Oh no, it's fine, I like it." And fucking Oprah goes to interview them, and they're like, "So this is actually your religious freedom, huh?" And they're like, "Yes." I'm like, "Great job, Oprah, you fucking useful idiot."
Yeah, you stupid black woman.
I'm just
That's why I
imagining-
like Joe. He reads between the lines.
I'm
I
just
know what Bobby
imagining-
really meant to say.
Joe's my interpreter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Rosa Parks.
Yeah. Joe's gonna be a part one day when
Ah,
this isn't.
Bobby, come on, dude. Oprah and Rosa Parks are two different black
Yeah.
women. That Harriet Tubman looking bitch fucking getting these women out.
Some of you that are only listening might think that sometimes when I'm talking it actually sounds like Joe, but that is not true. Anything awful that you hear that sounds like it could be in Joe's voice is actually my voice.
A lot of people have been saying, like, before I go up on stage, that this comedian does not reflect the values and views of this club, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Is that before you put on your park ranger hat and start
Yeah.
explaining the value of pedophilia?
Not the
I
value.
just imagine once the this church stops existing, it becomes a national park, and Joe's the one giving the tours.
The risk.
And he's like,
the risk
This is where the
reward.
hymen was broken.
Yes.
In this bedroom. And
This
we could
is
all
the-
go in if anybody else here
Yes.
has a unzipped hymen
Yes.
they would like
This
to be
is
penetrated.
the lifestyle and what a pedophile would do when grooming a woman, from what I've read and heard about.
So, sir, you have a teenage daughter. Do you mind if I use her for just kind of a demonstration?
yes.
The documentary, by the way, is called Keep Sweet, and it's on Netflix. I believe it's a 4-part-hour documentary with each episode being an hour long.
I also would kind
in.
of, I would kind of be surprised if they weren't also pedophiles. Like there's
What?
something with we're polygamists. We believe you can marry as many people as you want.
Yeah.
But we actually really care about the difference between a 16 and 18
Yeah,
year old.
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
Uh-oh.
But they went much lower than 16. It was fucking creepy. Dude.
How much younger?
I think one was like 13. You know what
How
I mean?
hot?
had they had their bar mitzvah yet though?
They didn't have their Mormon bar mitzvah yet. That's
So
the
I just
worst.
need to know if they're a real man or woman.
Yeah, I think anyone who fucks a 13-year-old needs to get the chair so they could put them up and raise them up and then
Right.
it's fun.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, dude, it's wild. And the biggest thing was they would kick out teenage boys because they were competition. Like, so it was literally this one guy that just liked fucking teenage
Wish
girls.
I could have done that on the cruise to a
Yeah.
few of those little boys.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's but you know what? Like, so the main guy got a bunch of wives, but even the most fucking like smarmy beta type looking dudes got 2 wives.
That's pretty good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I wonder what that, because in Alaska, you're right. It's
Who do you
apparently
think would
so
have the
much
most wives
more.
of us? I think Matt would have the most wives. I'd have the second most. Bobby would have
I think
like.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah,
yeah.
because you're the by
I would have the
extroversion-
most surviving wives by the end, though.
Yes.
I can tell you that much.
Yeah.
That's the distribution of our extroversion. You're the most extroverted followed by
Okay.
Joe and then me.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense then. But
so
yeah,
I would have 2,
Yeah.
but one I would love, and the other one would be 21.
I'd have
You know what I
4
mean?
wives, 3 of which survived. Matt would have 6.
One make it to
Matt would
adulthood.
have 6 wives.
Yeah.
With 2 survivors, one MIA.
can one of them not have BPD?
No, sorry,
Damn.
Matt.
Come on, Matt.
That's so fun. Because like a polygamous man is like the domineering one that has these subservient women.
Yeah.
But you just get stuck with a bunch of women that are like, why haven't you texted me back? I don't understand. It's like you don't love me. Don't tell me you're with our other wife. My other wife is right here. We both are mad at you. We've both been self-harming. Ah!
That is what would happen.
Oh yeah. Bobby would have 2 women he waits on hand and foot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just fucking like massaging 4 feet at the same time.
I'm sorry, honey. I didn't get you a present because I was busy getting Ursula her present. I don't know why they have Jewish names, but but yeah, dude.
I have like that thing where it's like 2 women are fanning me, the other one's like
Oh.
running a Swiffer.
Joe has it all figured
Right.
out.
Another one is like massaging my feet.
Another one is doing your act to you, so you
Right.
could like tighten it up.
Yeah, so I could finally like imagine. It's like, how can I appeal to the female demographic?
She puts on like a mustache and
I get all
holding a
turned
microphone.
on, and I'm like, hey, let's do a little something else instead of working on this act.
Joe's like, I could finally do what everyone's been telling me and fuck myself.
Yeah, I have sex with trans me. One of my wives is just like a trans version of myself.
Ooh.
That's the one I'd love.
Yeah.
Josephine Gorman.
There it is.
But it's so hard because you want to beat up the woman you're fucking, but not if she looks like you.
Right. That's like self-harm.
Yeah.
It's like Fight Club.
Yeah.
The original Fight Club with Brad Pitt and Edward Norton.
Did they do a remake of that?
No, Comedy Fight Club.
Oh.
The show you do almost every week, Joseph.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, it was real interesting. And Skagway is the one that's almost only a tourist town. It's like 800 people live there year round, but 2,500 in the summer.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a few of the people there. One of them was just like, she lives in Montana, and for a summer job, there's a website that puts you out to cities that are tourist traps. They $100 out of your check for room and board, and then you just work a summer job in a place where you'll never be before or since.
I used
You
to
want to do that?
I wish not now, but I wish when I was younger, just like worked at a supermarket in the summer, I had done
Yeah.
something like that instead.
Yeah, that would have been way cooler.
I used to hook up with a girl. There's
Yeah,
more.
right.
There's more. There's
when
more
you
to
were
the story.
dating someone.
Yeah.
This is my favorite new theme on the show. is
That Bobby cheats.
imply that the reason Bobby's relationship fell apart was his constant infidelity.
Non-stop.
nonstop.
He
Dude.
couldn't wait. He was always walking around with a fucking boner.
I mean, it can't be true, dude. I love the rules, and that's
He
like
would-
one of the biggest rules.
he would go up to women with an erection, slap it on their dick, and say, "Hey, is this thing on?"
slap it on their dick. You said.
Slap it on their thigh.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe if I was kind of decided to go the Mark Henley route, may he rest in
Did
peace.
he actually
No,
do that? Did he
he's
actually-
alive again.
Oh,
because
praise his name. What do we say?
Because he fucking made you
yeah.
sneak into a movie theater.
Yeah.
I forgot
Yeah.
about that. I mean, I didn't forget about that moment, but I forgot we made the. So what do we say in place of that?
Long live.
Long live Mark
Henley.
Henley.
Yeah, he likes trans women, which I think. Is
Oh, that's it.
I think
Can
it's
you
very
talk
great.
about that?
Okay, he's
Yeah.
he's
Are you
dead.
sure?
He's dead again.
Are you sure he's really into trans? Was it like
he
a
talks
bit?
about sucking dick on stage.
Really?
Yes.
That's disappointing. Does he
a good
really?
bit.
I shook that guy's hand. He's giving me a ride, and now you're telling me this nonsense.
Yeah.
Fuck,
He
dude.
dabbles.
Now I gotta get it. Now I gotta get tested.
You know what it is? He dabbles. It's
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not like a Jim Norton type guy.
Do you think if he had better self-esteem, he would have sex with like?
I think he and get this, Joseph,
Yeah.
views them as fully women. Mm-hmm.
Do you?
They're women-esque for
Do you
sure.
do you respect Mark less because of his sexual orientation?
No, but I love Mark just the way he is.
I don't know, because like you were telling me, like super seniors, you're like, this guy's going around having sex with men that say they're women. I don't know if I can keep.
Well, I
riffing.
mean, listen, that is why we had to end the podcast.
Well,
but-
guess what, dude? I got a revelation for you. Matt also has sex with men who look like women. Yeah.
Is that true?
I like to think of them as women who look like men. Actually,
No, women that look like men is all a bushwhack. Okay, here is a constant problem for me because me as an
Incel.
incel, I sometimes like to
I just thought inshallah instead of inshallah.
Salman Rushdie, rest in
Incel.
peace.
R.I.P. to a real one. Yeah, that's what I say when I want like Elliot Rodger to watch over me and
Yes.
make sure that I'm safe.
Inshallah.
Yeah, inshallah.
So anyway, what happened when Michelle Branch slapped Salman Rushdie? I've been out of town for a week. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going
You've
on.
been outside of America in Alaska, so how the hell are you?
Well,
supposed
the
to
last day I was in Victoria, British Columbia.
know? Ooh, okay. An
which-
international travel,
Which is very much like New York. Like, I'm sure if you go far enough out, it doesn't go as long as New York, but it is just a city.
It's a
which
big ass
is-
city.
Yeah, which is where I went to Chinatown.
Ooh.
Yeah. There was a Chinatown in Victoria and a fisherman's wharf.
okay.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my.
What's that?
It's just like an area, I guess kind of like a South Street Seaport-esque thing, but more like fish markets and stores and all. I guess kind of like a mini mall on the sea. Where there's different. I ate at a place called Redfish Bluefish. I had salmon tacos.
Ooh. Did you like
Salmon.
eating at Redfish Bluefish because it's one of your favorite books?
It is, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. To get there, I used my right foot and left foot.
Aw. And then you gassed the Jews. That's actually a lesser-known Dr. Seuss book.
Yes.
There is a Jew here. There's a Jew here. There in the Fourth Reich. They're everywhere. I'm sorry, Matthew. Go ahead.
Green eggs and kosher ham. Anyway, what
you
were you
make
just
kosher
saying?
ham if you buy it half off.
What were you just saying? As an incel, before I just went on an incel tangent.
Oh, so talking about the prevalency That's a good word. Prevalency.
Very good word.
Thank you very much. The prevalency of trans women in Bushwick is, first of all, it's great. But as a man that sometimes will intentionally message women on dating apps who look androgynous because they are easier to sleep with,
Yes.
part of me is always like, will they have a penis? And more importantly, will Matt and Joe find out about this?
Yeah. Well, I haven't ever.
You better hope to God I don't.
I haven't ever.
Joe's gonna honor kill
had
me.
I'll match with
Bobby,
girls.
this is for your own good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe has a fucking sword. He's like,
Yeah.
for the good name of the podcast.
Right.
And then you get a woman in a
Yeah.
full burqa to replace me.
Yeah, I'll match with a girl and then see her profile because sometimes I just swipe based on appearance. I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Oh
don't
my
read
God.
everyone's profile.
Oh my goodness.
And then I'll see that they're trans and feel bad about it, but I will immediately unmatch.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't want to disappoint you.
That's fair.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful, man.
That's
Wow.
good.
Matt and I do so many things and have so many beliefs in order to not disappoint Joe that we
Yes.
otherwise would not do or believe.
Right.
Wow.
I will say also on the last day of the trip.
I don't want to call the police on this black
Yeah.
man, but
That-
Joe, you're the boss.
On the last day of the trip, I remember having the thought that I'm like, Juneau was cool, I like Victoria, but Skagway and Sitka were like my two favorite. And then I realized those were the 2 days that I was the most high.
Yeah.
The
Nice.
2 days I did edibles, and the 2 days I was like, those are the best places ever.
The thing about Skagway is while you're there, you have zero anxiety and everything is a weird tinge of blue.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I like
Yeah.
that.
I did a tour of there's a bar that's still there from like the late 1800s, and the top floor is a saloon that they've kept preserved as a museum.
Okay.
And you get to see the actual beds that the women were working on.
Okay.
You saw the madam's room, which is a lot bigger.
Okay.
She was like apparently actually very wealthy, and she would charge herself $500 a trick back then, and $1,000 for the night with her. So
Oh.
she had all this like jewelry and everything. She was like actually doing really well, and then falls in love with some dude who's a gambler and gives away all of her money, loses all of her money.
Nice, dude.
Jesus.
They moved down to Seattle. She's working as a maid. Someone recognizes her, and she said, "I'm still making a living on my hands and knees, but at least it's in an honest profession now."
Aw,
What a dumbass.
Yeah.
damn.
Women are dumb.
I think this is what I was going to say before when I said that I hooked up with a woman and Joe brought up my infidelity.
Yes.
I used to hook up with a girl that worked in Skagway
Oh.
in the whorehouse.
Really?
So I think you may have met a girl that I hooked up with.
That is
in New
possible
York.
because they dress like a prostitute and talk in the old time yards. They're like,
Yeah.
and this is the room where I met this man who did this thing.
Did you actually have sex with the prostitutes?
I did not.
That's not part
Could
of the
you,
tour.
though?
That's not part of the tour.
It's just the whole thing's just a front for an actual whorehouse.
Yeah.
Now I would like to participate in
Go
one
on
of
the
them
tour.
altercations where I gets carnal with a lady of the night.
Well, the whole reason Skagway's still a
Oh,
town
Joe doing the southern accent, prevalent in
in
Alaska.
Skagway, Alaska.
Now I'm just a simple Alaskan fisherman here. But I do believe that lady of the night is to be my bride.
Beautiful. Yeah, and they're like, "Sir,
Yeah.
please leave." Well, I don't see the sheriff anywhere. Once the sheriff gets here, oh, you can't have a Negro sheriff. That makes no sense, sir. You're gonna have to leave. Who's
Believe it or not, there doesn't seem to be a big problem with there being too many black people in Alaska.
Yeah.
I will say, the native in Seattle, it was like very noticeable. I'm like, there's no black people.
Yikes.
There are a lot of Asians.
Okay.
The street
Ooh.
performers, no black, but they're all Asian. There's like Asian dudes playing violin,
Dude,
where you would,
the
Yeah.
cleanest city ever.
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
where you would normally have like a black person doing showtime.
Yeah.
In Alaska, because there's
An Asian man gets on the train. He's like, excuse me, everybody. It's time for showtime, if that's okay with everyone. We'll just, I have this Rubik's Cube. If you want to give me money or even just bow, that will be okay. No? Okay, I'm sorry. I'll get off the train and go back to medical school.
Bobby, you seem to have a very westernized view of Asian, because I know the Japanese would be like, Banzai! It is showtime! Aru! Hey! And they're doing like fucking flips and kicks. Thank you for coming to Showtime. A little bit of a yen in my giant rice hat, making me really happy.
There you go.
Yeah, you are right. The one Japanese person I know is very loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, dude. Asians come in all different
yeah.
shades of yellow, dude.
Yes. I will say
That's
that
beautiful. That's different shades of gray, but it's about guys with small penises.
50 Shades of Yellow.
He's a powerful Japanese businessman that constantly wants to kill me through seppuku every night.
Yeah, and that,
50 Shades of
he
Yellow.
towers over me at 5'7".
Yeah.
And just bounds and gags me, but not
Yeah,
for
dude.
sex, but because I talked out of turn.
Yes.
Chops off her head. It's all silhouetted, so the head like rolls down. and shit.
Ooh.
Yeah, powerful stuff.
In Alaska, it didn't feel as like undiverse as Seattle, just because there's so many Native Americans, and they kind of almost fill the role in society that Black people do in New York, where they're the group that's been oppressed
Terrifying minority.
Yes, they're the group that's been oppressed for so long, and now they're kind of the cool ones.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
like, oh, be careful, man. You don't want to die in a drive-by scalping.
Yes.
So they fucking run. They
Yeah.
fucking roll up on you on horses, shoot you in the leg with an arrow, go, and fucking run off, dude.
No, because the real problem there is the native on native violence.
Really?
Yes.
Warring tribes, the Blackfoot versus the Cree.
No,
something
it's
like
just
that?
it's in Chicago, Alaska, a small town. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No one's talking about it. The
Exactly,
left media
yeah.
isn't talking about it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yikes. I'm
Yeah.
scared now.
He who wears red and
Yeah.
he who wears blue are in internal turmoil
Also,
for generations.
The red wolf
No.
and the blue bear are fighting again. And until brother and brother can lie in peace,
Yeah.
Mother Eagle will never soar.
They use the elements for which Mother Nature has allowed them, such as crack cocaine and baking soda. They cook the cocaine in the baking soda, as their ancestors have done for dozens of years.
Yes. As this
The
totem
peace pipe
as
now.
this totem pole tells us.
It's a totem pole. It's just
Yeah.
a giant crack pipe.
Yeah.
So you were saying there are Seattle's the whitest city.
Seattle is very white. There are a lot of Asians there.
Yes,
It's
okay.
where Bruce Lee is buried, which I didn't know until I got
In
there.
Alaska?
In Seattle.
In Seattle.
Oh, why Seattle?
That's where he
Big
first
Nirvana
came
fan.
to America. He was born in San Francisco,
Yeah.
but his dad was like an opera singer. So they were on tour in San Francisco when he's born.
A
They go
Chinese
back
opera
to-
singer. How do you
Yes.
think that sounded?
Rovery.
I'm so ornery. I know that's North Korean, but open Gangnam Style. So his family goes back to Hong Kong. He comes to Seattle first, but he didn't need to get citizenship because he was born in America.
Okay.
And then he's in Seattle for a while, and then he ends up going down to California and being in movies. So him and his son are both buried in Seattle.
Yeah, son had a little oopsie daisy.
Yes.
With the Chinese mafia.
That's not
No.
how I remember the story.
Joe.
Oh, what happened with his son?
The Chinese mafia, it was the Yakuza.
Somebody shot Brandon Lee.
Someone did, yeah.
Do you think it was the same? Do you think the same fucking mafia yakuza that triggered Brandon Lee was the same one that fucked up Alec Baldwin's gun too?
No, it was a drive-by Native American
Dude,
attack.
why are you saying this on the free episode when we could get people to subscribe to InfoWars? To hear,
Well, now that what's his face is dead.
dude, he's in so much trouble.
Alex Jones?
Why? So like,
Wait,
okay,
what? Yeah,
I'm gonna say this. Like,
I've been away for a lot of this. I've only heard tidbits.
Yeah, okay, we should get into this in the last like half hour or so of the pod.
So apparently he, well, everybody knows that he was saying like Sandy Hook's a false flag and all that
Right.
stuff.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it checks out.
Yeah, it
I'm not
checks
saying
out.
that it was, but if you look at what Alex Jones said, it was.
If you actually, if you do your own research, you'll
Yeah.
come to the correct conclusion.
Right.
That Joe just said moments before, but
That's crazy how much trouble he's in.
he and his lawyers are.
They like turned on him, I think. Was
No,
that
they're
it?
just incompetent.
Oh,
They didn't
okay.
turn over discovery, which is like, I mean, I have a paralegal certificate, not to brag, but
Can you
it's-
talk about this?
Can I talk about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm not on the legal team anymore, but
Are you HIPAA certified?
that's yes, yeah. I'm HIPAA
Really?
certified. Yep.
Are
Yeah.
you? You took the test?
You're HIPAA certified, and Joe's a hippopotamus.
Matthew, why would you say that?
He's just joking around, dude. I wouldn't.
He's a HIPPA dickhead.
Ooh.
This episode's over. I ended it like 10 minutes.
Well, you can say whatever you want, and then I make one thing. You're a real hypocrite.
All right, Matt, that's enough. I'm turning off your fucking mic.
You know what?
too
You know the
much.
thing about this episode is it's the hip hop, the hippie, and the hip hop. You don't stop.
Anyway, Alex Jones is arrested.
Well, no, but he's in civil trouble for. He's basically being sued for damages for slander and emotional damage
How can he get in trouble for that?
because he's saying something that's like not true.
How do
and
we know that, though?
Is it like Joe's stolen valor?
It's a lot like Joe Stolen Valor.
Well, I don't want to get in trouble for that.
Well, Alex Jones, because he was under oath, was like, Sandy Hook happened.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that sucks, man. Because there are people out there that they're like, fucking unsubscribe, dude. What the
Yeah.
fuck? Sandy Hook happened?
Yeah.
Jesus, man.
Wait, so what
Well,
was there was
something
some,
happened.
So children die from bullets. Okay.
There was something about his like text being revealed, right?
Yeah, and that all came about because
His lawyers let the text out or something?
Well, first of all of that stuff was supposed to be given in Discovery. So you have this thing called Discovery.
Yeah.
And it's basically
I've watched the channel before.
Yeah. You got to give all of the pictures of zebras being eaten by lions to
Yeah.
the opposing counsel.
When's the National Geographic part of the case coming?
Ooh, yeah, with the big hanging titties.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. But so Alex Jones' lawyer is probably like as crazy as Alex Jones is because he was straight up like not giving Discovery, which is not good because at some point the judge was like, okay, jury, just so you know, Alex Jones's attorneys are not complying with Discovery, which is illegal, which doesn't win you any favors with the jury. The jury's
why?
like, all right, well, I already know he's doing something bad. You know what I mean?
Not me.
But then they accidentally hand over all these text messages where Alex Jones is like, yeah, I know about Sandy Hook or whatever. And then so
Saying he knows that it's real?
I don't know if he knows that it's real. I think he was trying to play dumb and be like, because there's something he said during deposition, like, I've talked about Sandy Hook for maybe, I don't know, something like inconsequential, like 15 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And he's like, the problem is that the mainstream media talked about it ad nauseum. So if anything, I'm unrelated to this because I was just free forming ideas and the mainstream media talked about it. And that's what's causing these parents emotional damage or whatever. And
That's actually not a crazy argument to make.
Justified.
Unless he actually did talk about it way more than the 15
he talked
minutes.
about it way more on air and off air. And the thing is, a lot of the text messages and emails that were accidentally sent to the prosecution, or the plaintiff, rather, I should say, because it's a civil suit, was actually him talking about Sandy Hook, like, blah, blah, blah. And, like, even from, like, a marketing perspective, just this was his thing.
Wait,
Like,
so it's like they accidentally sent the text to their rivals?
Yeah.
In the
here's what I think happened.
That's so everyone sent like the wrong text before. Imagine you're like a nationally televised trial with all this media attention and you accidentally text evidence to the other lawyers.
And apparently, so
that's so fucked up.
This cross-examination, the lawyer is like asking Jones all these questions, and Jones does not know
that they've accidentally got.
So
the
he's
text.
perjuring him, which he shouldn't do. Like, he's committing the crime anyway.
Yeah.
But in real time, he's like learning. He's like, fuck. But
They know.
The thing about Alex Jones is he's a little like he's a performer, and therefore cannot bring himself to plead the fifth.
Wait, so
he
they're
has
like,
to yes and the questions. is
what's
what
he
I'm
saying?
saying.
Like he's saying, I barely even talked about it. Like,
yeah.
well, here you said this.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I mean, yeah, there was that time and this and it's like that.
Basically, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not criminally liable, but he's going to lose a bunch of money. He already, I think it was $4 point something million to just these two parents.
Yeah.
Or something like that. By the way, I barely know what I'm talking about. So
And like,
please
how
don't send
can
me
like
death
these
threats and
parents
send
be
this as
like, oh, it's so true. They're cleaning up. Doesn't sound traumatic to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, oh, I'm traumatized.
How much
$1
how much was that kid
please.
really worth?
Yeah, exactly. You learn about like, parents stealing money from like their sons who are child actors. It sounds like you got to get your son to be a crisis actor. You rake it in. I mean, it's this long drawn out trial, and you got to be in cahoots with the defense attorney. But after that, you get $4 million. I mean, Louise.
I've accidentally sent a text to a girl when I meant to send it to my boys before.
Yeah.
I
What'd you
thought that
say?
was the word.
He said, "I think Sandy Hook didn't."
Yes.
happen."
No, this is the worst one. This is the worst one I've ever done. I remember there was a girl who I was dating, and we had been
Nice.
like fighting about something, and
Your micro penis.
yes, we met up, and
It's like, Matthew, this isn't gonna make me come. You have to use your fingers. And you're like, ever since fucking DJ Khaled told me not to go down on a woman, I'm not either.
yes,
That was the argument.
yeah, basically. But yeah, so we talked things out. We have sex, and then I'm like, I guess we're still together. And I was talking to one of my friends, and they asked me how everything went because I had talked to them before about it. And I sent back, well, we talked things out. I don't know if things are going to get better or not, but she blew me, so I guess I forgive her for now. And I sent that text to her.
Oh, nice.
That rules.
It was the fastest she's ever responded to a text from me.
That's so funny. Dude.
Yeah. We still were together for several months after that.
Oh,
but
nice.
That
It all
was
worked
your
out.
first. Was it your first headway into the BPD extravaganza that is your dating life?
No, that was that was my first girl I was seeing for we dated for like a year.
On and off, right?
Yeah, on and off. So that
I was
the
competing with her time.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you.
that was the first girl I was seeing that I was, committed to. We were on and off, but was because other times before that, I'm sure I was with crazier girls, but I was honestly just selfish and didn't really.
What?
Yeah. Nice going,
Bobby, you're so crazy.
But yeah, maybe it's just karma. The fact that I'm like, you know what? I'm actually going to invest time into other people and be more kind and giving and understanding. And then God's just completely fucking me in response.
No.
Yeah.
Poor Matt.
Yeah. Even though you cut off your foreskin, he just doesn't give a shit.
Guess not.
It's wild, dude. That's so funny when you send someone the wrong. I'm so careful with that, dude. I double check.
I am now.
Yeah.
You got to double check, triple check.
Whenever I'm
even.
texting about someone else, like if I'm texting you about Joe or I'm texting Joe about Matt, just trying to divide and conquer type situation. Like whenever I do that, I'm always cognizant.
Double check, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you don't want to be like, yeah, she's a fucking cunt.
Yeah.
And then your mom's like, did you mean to send this to me?
And they're like, Mom,
Yeah.
Dad,
Brother, sister.
brother.
So are you going to move to Alaska?
Yeah.
If I wasn't doing comedy, maybe.
When are you moving out of New York?
There's no comedy scene in Alaska?
There is not.
Are
At
you
least
sure?
not that I saw. There were one of the bars I went to in Juneau had a thing for open mic night.
Yeah.
Why didn't
And I
you do
think
that?
right before I left, there was a guy getting up there starting to host a thing. I didn't know what it was, but I got out as soon as I could.
Not only does Matt hate New York City, he hates stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Do you really hate stand-up comedy, Matt?
No, I actually do love comedy
Ew.
and comedians.
Oh, good.
That's and
they
the
love
thing I
Who
you.
are
love.
your two favorite comedians?
My two favorite comedians,
Really think about this.
living or dead.
Living.
Living. Gotta be Jeff Dunham. Dane Cook now. Yeah, so those are the two. Dane Cook just jumped in there in the last couple weeks.
Yeah, dude.
I can't wait till his new album comes out.
Yeah. Does he has a new special coming out,
From
right?
the birth canal to the fucking
Yeah, it's called
wedding
Technically
floor.
Legal.
There you go. Dane
Hey, when I
Cook's-
wrote Vicious Circle, I was talking about my then 3-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah. That's what the three fingers is.
Yeah, that's what Sufi is for
Yeah.
now.
There was an interview apparently when he joked about that most of his life had went by, his girlfriend was alive for most of his life, and I kind of like that, being Dane and because all of his friends think it's cool, you know what I mean, and making that joke to a general audience and being like, huh, aren't I poking fun at myself? And everyone's
Yeah.
legitimately mad at him.
Yeah.
But if you're 18, go ahead and give me a message.
Yeah. No, the
But it has to
yeah.
be at least a full 24 hours after your birthday, so that you're legal in all time zones. I'm not taking any chances.
Right.
And you have to have graduated from high school or have a GED.
Imagine if I
Or be way fucking
That's-
hot.
Yeah, or have giant titties.
I fuck some underage girl in Alaska and be like, oh, I thought she was, the time zones are different.
Yeah.
I thought she was older.
The days are so long in
Yeah.
Alaska.
It was 16 hours of sunshine. Sunrise at 5 o'clock and sun didn't set till 10.
16 hours of sunshine is what I call anytime I hang out with Joe.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Bobby, you're so
I've got
sweet.
sunshine
and
I'm fucking
HIV.
gay. All right, we got there in different ways.
Yeah. Skagway was like, it's an old West town. That was probably the one I think I enjoyed the most, but there was
Wild Wild West.
no internet service there. That would be a big problem for me if I were there. I would
Oh,
like to still
at
be
all.
on the
That's
internet.
wild.
It was very slow.
Yeah.
Sitka had better internet service. Even like when I was in the national park, I didn't go too far in, but I went far enough in that there was no one around me. So that was the other thing. We were like, if I get eaten by a bear, I'm like, if I'm far enough in there, they may not find me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to, like, at least if I could have back in the day spent a summer there. Now I don't know if I would want to do a whole summer away from New York.
Why?
Oh,
Because
comedy
you just
stuff.
love the hustle and bustle
Yeah.
of the city.
If there was maybe something with, well, also, yeah, I am a city boy. I've lived in the city my whole life.
Born and
So
raised
some
in
of
South
the,
Detroit.
born and raised in South Detroit.
That's beautiful.
So there are some things I would miss that I don't even realize I would miss.
Like
if
pussy.
He took
Yeah.
the midnight train down to Charlottesville.
Jews will not replace us. I just say the Jews will not replace us to the tune of Don't Stop Believing.
Jews
I like-
won't
replace us.
I don't want to face that. I'm an incel.
That's weird when you're at a wedding and everyone's singing that song. And I always have the thought of how did everyone learn the entire lyrics of the song except for me? Like, was I absent from that day of school? Because I can't imagine anyone alone in their room like listening to that song.
Well, there was karaoke on the ship, and it was interesting in because so many different ages there.
Yeah.
I went out the first night and did All Star by Smash Mouth. I feel like everyone will know that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
But after a while, it's like there's nothing that all these 80-year-olds and 18-year-olds will know. I did Blink 182 one night, and just the young people were there. Avril Lavigne, just the young
How about the
people.
Star Spangled Banner, huh?
That was not an option. They also didn't have a lot of songs that you would think they would have for karaoke.
Like what?
No Beverly Hills by Weezer.
Well, that's where you want to be.
I know. No Mr. Brightside.
And you went there where you were like, give me, the song that is Beverly Hills.
Yeah. No Stacy's mom. That was upsetting.
No Stacy's
Wow.
mom.
Yeah.
That clip of us singing Stacy's mom has the most amount of likes that any clip has ever gotten.
Nice.
We've done it.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
arrived.
Yeah, I think maybe enough people Google Stacy because she's a pivotal character in the incel universe. That might have helped us. We might have
Yeah.
gotten the incel bump a little bit.
Yeah.
Who's Stacy in the incel universe?
Do you not know this? So in incel ideology, and
Oh, wait,
listen,
I
guys,
actually-
I'm an anthropologist in
Right.
an amateur way.
I don't
I'm
think I know
strictly
this.
interested in how other people view the world.
I don't
But-
think I know this either.
So
This is-
attractive men are Chads,
Right.
Right.
I know
and
that.
attractive women are Stacys.
Oh,
I
see.
didn't know that.
Yeah. That's the female equivalent to a Chad is a Stacy.
So that's why on that clip we were talking about Chad the country and Stacy's
It's all
mom.
coming together.
Ah.
It was so layered because you were talking about, you referenced the country Niger.
Yes. Good job.
And so there was that. So everybody from Niger probably liked the clip.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually, they have a king.
In
Who's
Niger.
the king of
he's
Niger?
Niger rich.
Niger, please.
King Niger.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Niger Rex.
I kind of want to go to a country in Africa and not Egypt.
Why?
That's cheating.
No.
Just to kind of say I've been
No,
not
it's
South
scary.
Africa, not Egypt. I want to go to
I would like to go to Egypt to see
Why?
all the history stuff.
You
Yeah.
get fucking lost in
to
the
see
fucking
the pyramids
pyramid.
that were definitely built by the Jews. That'd be cool.
What you just want to go to see what a country in
I
Africa's
sort
like?
of want to. I went down this rabbit hole. This guy has a.
Ooh, I would go to Timbuktu
Where's that?
in Mali.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mali maybe. I kind of want to go as fucking what's the word I'm looking for? Morbid as this sounds. I want to go to Rwanda.
Why?
They say Rwanda is like one of the safest countries in Africa
Yeah.
now.
He wants to go and chop down the tall trees.
I want to chop down the tall trees.
All right, we talked about this before.
Yeah, but actually, like, I mean, people go to Auschwitz and stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah, to catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta catch 'em all. You're a fag.
You can catch Abra and Kadabra there because you needed magic Pokemon to make up all those numbers.
Yep. Yeah.
And all the ghost Pokemon are
Yes.
there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Is there a Is there a Pokemon called Saul Goldstein?
Yeah.
'Cause he might be there.
Yeah, maybe.
But I would like to go. Like, there's
Rwanda. Yeah, that's Timbuktu. It's like for me, I'd like to see some history stuff.
Yeah.
But also, like, even on these ports on the cruise ship, there's the tourist area for the first block. I always walk further in and try and, like, go to a local bar and talk to people who, like, live there. I want to see, like, what
so
the actual... I want to see what the actual town is like.
Yeah.
What a fascinating guy.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you go to the bar and you're like, hey, so you're a townie. I'm sure not college educated. Probably not used to all the big words I'm about to use.
Yeah.
But hey, I'm just wondering, like, what's it like being a rube that doesn't wish for anything more?
Yeah.
Huh? And then he's like, I'm also a tourist.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Oh, there was one group in one of the local bars I was in. They were all from Tampa, and I just started talking to them and mentioned I was from New York, and he's like, they got too much regulation up there, right? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. And he's like, and a lot of foreigners too.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
There it is.
There
Fuck
it
yeah.
is.
You're damn right, man.
Yeah.
For the red, white, and blue.
You want anyone outside of New York to think New York is as dangerous as they think it is. Therefore, you're fucking cool. And
Yeah, well, that's
dangerous
how I
yourself.
was telling. I told people also. There was one guy who was in L.A. They were like some of the young people I was hanging out with. They're originally from the Bay Area.
Ooh.
And he's
And they
from
were
LA.
like, can you tell us what it's like to live in New York?
Yeah. No, we were both just kind of saying how, like, everyone thinks that where we live is like LA and New York. Like, it's so dangerous and crazy. If you're living there, you're kind of like, I mean, it seems fine to me.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem as crazy as everyone's saying it is.
Yeah. And, you know, I've been attacked by homeless people more than once, but I fucking go back home to the suburbs and I want a pizza at 2 in the morning. I'm shit out of luck. So
Yeah.
everything's a fucking trade-off.
Look at what you're wearing, though. You're basically asking for it.
Yeah, you're right. I think my...
You're wearing clothes and they don't have any.
You think you're better than me just because you're wearing clothes that aren't covered in your own feces? Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if there is a place that has like a lot of interesting history, and then there's also, so in Africa, I feel like a Timbuktu could be that.
Okay.
But just going somewhere that doesn't necessarily have that. Yeah, I'm not sure if I would want to, but Rwanda's probably got some interesting stuff.
Yeah, and yeah, they have elephants.
Yeah.
And to me, there's something fun about, like, apparently if you go to Rwanda, like, people just people will wave to white people when they see them.
Nice.
You know what I mean? I'm finally getting the
Yeah.
respect I deserve.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I feel like any place like that where it's like you're special from being from America is also dangerous. Apparently, Rwanda is the best of both worlds because it's also not dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
Well,
shouldn't. They do say don't have raw sex with the prostitutes, and I think I can handle not doing.
Yeah.
I think that's fine. I think
Yeah.
it'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is like even
Joe's just recommending that because he would prefer a 2-person podcast.
Yeah.
Bobby, fuck the women raw in Rwanda. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's racist not to.
They won't
Bobby
steal
should
you-
go
well,
get
Oh, you got to
AIDS.
wear a condom
Yeah.
with a black woman.
yeah.
Bobby should go get AIDS. Matt should go get eaten by a bear, so we can really whittle this down to the way locker room talk was meant to
Yeah,
be.
the Joe Gorman experience.
Me just chilling, playing video games. It just becomes a Twitch stream.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a Twitch controversy.
What'd
So
they do?
apparently there's supposed to be a Twitch con coming up.
Oh, nice.
Or maybe
I'm
it's
gonna
already
participate.
happened. I'm not sure. But yeah, apparently Twitch announced, like, hey, we're doing this thing. And then a lot of, like, I guess Twitch is like left leaning, or at least the Twitch people
Yeah.
on Twitter are left leaning. Because they're like, okay, no mask requirements, no vax requirements. And then, like, this other guy was like, hey, I'm doing one the same weekend, and there's no. So now there's 2 separate streaming events for, like, there's a left wing one and a right wing one, which is probably what every fucking thing in America is. gonna
My
be now.
ex-wife is doing one at BitchCon.
Ah. Yeah, when I see her, it's on site, dude. I'm
Yeah.
knuckling up with her, no doubt.
Yeah. So
Treating
there's gonna
you
be
like shit.
the TwitchCon that is mask and no mask. It's so weird that really did become such a left-wing, right-wing thing where it's like,
Yeah.
there's other things that happened before our lives where it's like, it's kind of weird that you have to be like pro-gun and also for lower taxes, but
Yeah.
okay. And now we like saw another one happen where it's like, yeah, if you are pro-mask, you also are pro-life.
Yeah.
Or pro-choice,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
It's a product
And-
of the 2-party system.
Yeah.
Because we don't have more choices, so we pick one side or the other.
But it's impossible for any individual person to just happen to stumble onto all of those same beliefs themselves.
Right.
So, like, if you talk to anyone individually, they're probably going to think different things.
Not always though, because I feel like some people are like they have a way they feel. So like either they're God and country, or they're like equality for all, and then they pick the people that they trust.
Yeah.
So you only listen to the people that you trust. So they have to be at a certain baseline for you to even trust what they're saying, and that's how we're kind of in these two camps still.
Yeah, well, that's also in these like towns in Alaska. Everything feels so small that it's just, I can imagine somebody's life being, I work as a fisherman year round.
Yeah.
And in the summers, I open up a fish stand on the street where the tourists come in.
Yeah.
And I make money from that and commercial fishermen throughout the rest of the year.
And I'm
if
trans.
there is, yes, if there is a law about how you can do fishing in this way or this place this time of year that I now can't make a living, I'm voting for whoever does not feel that, regardless of any other issue.
Right. But then that could even inform how you feel about other issues if the guy that fucking likes the fishing laws you like also feels another way.
Maybe, but I think a lot of it is like when you're a single issue voter thing, when you go to these small places, like people's lives are so simple that when people are like, how could you vote for this person because they feel this, and
Matt
this.
hates New York City, but he does have that elitist attitude.
Yes,
you
I
just
do.
heard it, folks.
What?
If you're a fisherman in Alaska and you're enjoying this podcast, turn it off, you dumb fuck.
What do you mean? I love that about them.
Yeah, right. You
just
hate
said,
him.
well, okay, you just
What did
said
I
his
say?
life was very simple, which I
No, I
I'm
love
razzing
I
you
love
about.
how simple the
I
life
love how
is.
fucking stupid he is.
I didn't
I
I love
how
that he's a pathetic little
slack-jawed.
fucking
I
loser.
didn't say simple as a synonym for stupid. I meant simple as in like there's not a lot going on.
I'm razzing you, buddy. I know what you mean.
Okay.
I don't.
Joe doesn't, but I do.
No,
To find
it's-
out what Matt really wants, tune into the Patreon episode.
Yeah.
Same locker room time, same locker room place. Peace out, motherfuckers.